If you're thinking about buying a home in northern Utah, there's a few things that you should know before you start looking at houses. I'm talking to you if you're a first-time home buyer, a move-up buyer, which means you have a house to sell and a home to buy, and relocating to northern Utah. And we're gonna go over the mistakes to avoid, how the northern Utah market actually works, and how to start the home buying process the right way. First, let's chat about how the northern Utah market is a little bit different than markets all across the United States. Utah has a strong economy with lots of tech businesses bringing in money, which means our housing market hasn't really experienced a decrease. We've stayed pretty steady when a lot of other markets have declined over the past few years. So in northern Utah, prices are staying pretty steady, pretty high comparatively. What this means is that yes, you're paying a little bit of a higher price when a lot of people were waiting for a drop, but what that also means is the likelihood that you lose dramatic value on your home is really low. Next, let's talk about everybody's favorite thing, which is pricing. In northern Utah, pricing runs a little bit different simply because of our geography. We're stuck between the mountains and the lake, and then you've got desert. So most people in the Wasatch Front in northern Utah live along this long stretch that goes along I-15. And how that works is it goes typically from Salt Lake City all the way up to the Idaho border. So pricing runs as a bit of a scale along that highway stretch, while also having little pockets of little more expensive and little less expensive areas. So for instance, the further south you are, the more expensive homes tend to be. The further north you are, the less expensive homes tend to be. And that's all in relation to proximity to Salt Lake City. So the further you get away from Salt Lake City, the little bit less expensive homes tend to get. And that's all related to the industries in those areas and the commute time to the city. There's a few other pocket areas, like for instance, Ogden is more south North Ogden, but North Ogden tends to have higher pricing than Central Ogden. Another interesting thing is inventory moves very quickly in certain pockets and very slowly in other pockets. So more rural areas, if you have a home to sell, you tend to spend a little bit more time on market, whereas in central areas, homes tend to move a bit more quickly. From the buyer perspective, if you're looking at rural homes, you might have a little bit of time and a little bit of negotiating power. The more central you are to a city, there might be a little bit less negotiating power there. And that leads me into my next topic, which is timing. A lot of people try to time the market, and I don't advise trying to time the market. Timing the market is what you do when you're buying stocks or other types of things that are supposed to be a money-making asset. And I definitely understand how homes can be your money-making asset. However, your home is somewhere where you need to live. So you shouldn't only be concerned about the price and its appreciation and what you're gonna get out of it as far as that goes. What you should care a little bit more about is the lifestyle you wanna lead, the area that you're in, your commute, your safety, and your amenities. If you're only worried about timing the market, your priorities for finding the right home might be in the wrong place. Next, a lot of buyers really don't understand the cost of buying a home. You have things like down payment, closing costs, inspections, appraisals, and moving costs. I've actually broken down those costs in a free home buying cost guide that you can find in the description down below. But one thing I do want to mention is a lot of buyers forget to look out for grants or loan options that might work more in their favor. I always recommend getting multiple lenders to give you multiple quotes so that you know that you're getting the best rate and the best program. And if you don't happen to have a lot of money to spend on your first home, I do have some options where I can get you into a home for about $1,500. So if you'd like to see what that looks like, go ahead and leave a comment down below and let me know that you'd like a video on that. Another step that a lot of buyers forget that can cost them when it comes to negotiation is getting their full pre-approval. There's a difference between a pre-approval and a pre-qualification. A pre-qualification doesn't usually pull your credit and is only based off of your stated income, so it's not as accurate and won't give you accurate numbers for what you actually qualify for, what your payment will be, and what your purchasing power is. A pre-approval does pull your credit score, does follow up with all of your income sources, does a full check of all of your financials, and provides you with a very accurate payment number and a very accurate qualification. So before you go out and see houses, before you even look at houses online, you should have your pre-approval set so that you know what your budget is, and if you find the right house, you have the opportunity to jump on it as quickly as possible. Because if you like that house, somebody else probably does too. And that leads me into multiple offer situations. We see multiple offer situations all the time, even when the market isn't super fast paced. The market here in Utah is still really stable. So if a home is cute and people like it, there's the potential to get into some multiple offer situations. And so having that pre-approval in hand can put you a step ahead of many other buyers. By the way, if you're a first-time home buyer and you don't know where to start, I do have a first-time home buyer's guide that goes step by step through the home buying process. You can find the link for that in the description down below. And that leads me into my next point. If you are a first-time home buyer, there are tons of programs and grants in the state of Utah that are helping to give a lot of first-time home buyers opportunities to purchase their home with little to zero down. We have a new construction first-time homebuyer program that can give you up to $20,000 towards your first home. We also have multiple other Utah Housing Corporation and FHA loan programs and grant programs that are based on the different cities and counties. So make sure you're talking to a lender who really is going to go and do the research to make sure that they're getting you the best deal and getting you into all of the programs that you qualify for. These first-time homebuyer programs can really make a big difference in helping buyers getting into a home that they really love. And here's the biggest mistake that I see buyers make. Hopping on Zillow or Realtor.com or the Utah MLS, UtahRealEstate.com before getting their pre-approval and education on what the home buying process actually looks like. So if you're watching this, you're probably already ahead of them at that point. But with this online window shopping through those websites, I find a lot of buyers tend to get frustrated and upset because they fall in love with a home that they may not qualify for and then just decide to give up. And really, the only way to win in home ownership and level up to that dream home is starting somewhere, and usually that starting somewhere is with a small starter home that may not be your dream home. The best way to step into your dream home without breaking the bank or your heart is actually to step by step up with those smaller starter homes. My name is Jessie Tolman. I'm a realtor with the Utah Realtors at KW Success. If you're thinking about buying a home in Weber, Davis, or Box Elder County, go ahead and schedule a free strategy session with me through the link down below. We'll go over your goals and put together a game plan to get you into your next home.